And then that would kind of stop me in my tracks of like, all right, I need to get up. He's right. Like, we're heading towards something eternal. This life has eternal impact. I need to get up and make something out of my life.
Rewrite. New life, new beginning.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Unthank. Welcome to another edition of the Rewrite podcast, and so excited to have my special guest, Eli Gable. Man, thank you for coming by today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Man, tell me a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to get into your story of how you came to faith in Jesus.
Awesome. So we'll start with the wide view, and we'll zoom it in as it goes on.
Yeah.
All right. Born and raised in southeastern Ohio. I always say it's closer to West Virginia than anywhere that anyone's heard of in Ohio. But grew up just in the church pews. Got saved at a really young age, and we'll get into that a little bit more later. But got saved at a young age, and I began playing music in the worship band at a young age. I was about 7 years old, and I was playing drums in the church worship band. My dad was the worship leader, so I had an easy in. That was the easiest job interview. And it was cool. Like the first times I was playing, the drum set was taller than I was. Just no one knew who's playing drums. Mystery, and so I was always involved in music and involved in church my whole life. And then somewhere along the way, I got really into songwriting. I don't know why. My dad always wrote songs, so that probably had a lot to do with it. We always listened to country radio, which has some of the best storytelling and stuff inside a song. So I just became obsessed with writing songs for a lot of my life. I would just try to write a song a day and stuff like that. And then I always had the goal that I was going to move to Nashville. And I figured that I would move to Nashville and just become a country music songwriter. I couldn't really sing very well, didn't really care about that. I just wanted to play my drums and write songs for people. And then so finally about 5 years ago, COVID hit. I was doing social media marketing for funeral homes. That job went remote. And I was like, man, if I can work remote anywhere, I'll finally work remote from Nashville, Tennessee. So moved to Nashville, started chasing the songwriting, and I figured I'd be there for about 2 weeks, and the world would just realize how great I was. They would just be like, hey, you're going to write all the songs now.
You're the man.
Yeah, so I wrote Tennessee Whiskey and Wagon Wheel in a week, and I wish, man, the royalties. But no, so I moved down there, and I really did. I was chasing songwriting really hard. Ended up playing out at writers' rounds, which is where songwriters just share songs with each other, and I was just trying to get other artists to maybe get interested in my music, and I just really chased that hard for about a year. And I kind of started to see that I was just slipping in a lot of areas, just felt like I didn't have a good grip on my faith. It felt like I was kind of losing my soul a little bit. So I was like, well, I need to get plugged into a church, which had been rough up to that point. Getting plugged into a church in 2020 was an interesting event.
Exactly.
Church hunting was very weird when it's all spaced out. But but I ended up finding an amazing church, and I was like, okay, I love this. I know how much I need this. And I was like, all right, God, I'm just going to spend the next year just trying to get as plugged in as possible at this church, serve, get discipled, try to pour into other people. And that was just an incredible year and made a lot of great friends. And then on the other side of that, I kept on songwriting and stuff, but it started to be more songs that were personable to me, songs about my faith, songs about the things I was working through. And then it didn't really make sense for other people to be singing those. So I was like, okay, I guess I got to be like an artist now and sing my own songs. So yeah, that's what's led us up to here. That's what got me into doing music. And that's the story from, I don't know if that was a wide view. That was like a medium view. That was a 50 millimeter view. Yeah,
dude. Because I played drums too.
Beautiful.
And I played drums in the church as a kid.
Awesome.
Too. So I mean that.
Then you know that we're subjected. They wouldn't treat anyone else the way that they treat us.
Yeah.
They put us behind shields.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do. My dad was a pastor as well, so it's like, oh, you do whatever. Hey, we need somebody to fill in over here. Okay, I'll figure it out.
I think drummers are special too, because no other singer, guitar player, if they were told all the time, like, hey, do that but quieter all the time, they would quit.
Yeah.
we got endurance. You know, that's what I learned from that.
Can you play 4/4? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You were cracking me up. You're saying, you know, you're 7 years old behind the drum kit, and you're like trying to reach the cymbals.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking like you got to jump.
Oh yeah, you're hitting that fist bump like that Rocky jump just to hit that.
Totally with you on that one, man. Flashbacks. Come on. So tell me about, you know, you said you came to faith in Jesus as a young child. What is that? What was that like? You know, growing up in the church with your dad being a worship pastor and and that sort of thing in that environment. You know, how did you come to just your personal faith in
I
in
mean,
the Lord?
I grew up in an amazing church, and I grew up in an amazing family, and just lots of love for the Lord, just always around me, just scriptures and songs just like read to me and sang over me from a really young age. That's so awesome. Like, I don't remember a time that I didn't know about Jesus. You know, like that was just ingrained. Like I've been to church every single Sunday for most of my life, you know. And I just remember one time it's kind of cool because now I'm such an advocate for the local church and for discipleship. And like specifically like discipleship is just something that my church focuses really heavy on and stuff. And that was the first thing that kind of got me like really interested in like asking the questions and stuff, is I remember like hearing about Jesus and the disciples. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Like these guys just walked around and they were like, were like taught by Jesus and they messed up all the time and stuff, but Jesus was there and helped them out. You know, like I was like, man, that's awesome. And I was about 6 years old thinking about this stuff. And I remember I didn't even really probably know quite what it meant, but like I asked my dad, I was like, man, I read about these disciples. I'm like, I want to be a disciple. How do I do that? Then he kind of talked to me about like what that means. And he was like, you know, I'm a disciple too. And you know, that's what Christians are. And that it just means that you're following Jesus and trying. And I'm like, yeah, I want to be that. So he took me to the pastor on Sunday, and my pastor talked me through some of that same stuff. And then, you know, we just said a simple little prayer. And then that was the start of the faith journey there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. When you see God directing your steps all along the way, I'm sure during your teenage years, we all have that roller coaster.
For sure,
you know,
hormones.
I'm telling you, man. Exactly. But then you said, you know, you had that dream of being a songwriter. And then heading to Nashville. You know, I think of the scripture where it talks about the Lord puts those desires in your heart.
For sure.
And He knows those things. He knows those things. How do you see God weaving all of that together for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, I think right now I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, which is really cool. And it's not anything that I ever thought that I would be doing. Like I said, couldn't really sing, didn't want to sing, just wanted to write country songs for other people. And God just had the better plan. And I think that I've never had this like big moment of like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do or whatever. But it's just been this whole thing my whole life of just like the next opportunity, the next door that kind of opens and stuff. Just going through and just being like, all right, God, if you don't want me here, kick me out. And He's kicked me out of some places too, you know.
It's the father part of God saying, hey, I want you to go this way.
For sure, for sure. And I mean, I even remember feeling that there was, before I got plugged in that church that I'm at now, I found a great church that I didn't necessarily feel at home at, but like I remember being there, and I just felt a little off, and I just remember praying. I was like, God, like, am I supposed to be here right now? And then kind of the vibe that I got back was like, maybe not forever, but like enjoy it today. You know, like make the most of where you're at right now. And I think that just, there's been a lot of that in my life of like, maybe I'm doing things that I'm not going to be doing forever, but it's like just trying to make the most of it right now.
Cool.
So,
is there anything God has placed in your heart like right now, and you're like, you know, it's stirring in you, and you're like, man, I'm dreaming. You know, I'm dreaming. Is there anything in particular?
Honestly, and it's a really simple thing. I just started a Bible study with 3 other guys at my church. One just graduated high school. You know, the other 2 are kind of college age, and that is the thing that I'm most excited about. I'm really excited to wrap up this week. Go get lunch with them on Saturday. Talk about scripture. Talk about life, and just try to figure out how we can do that together. So I mean, I'm such an advocate for the local church and for discipleship. So I'm really excited more than anything just to keep on doing that.
That's awesome, man. Tell me about your song, "Glory Bound."
Yeah.
Tell me about that real quick, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, no. So the song, it's called "Glory Bound." It's the song that I put out most recently, and I wrote it because I was laying in bed just doom scrolling all day. Not all day. That sounds dramatic. That would be, all day implies like 8 hours of laying in bed just doing that. But well, the weird thing, once you start doing music stuff, your schedule is a little different, So it's like some days it's like, oh, I don't need to be anywhere till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So, the mornings go a little slow. But so I was just waking up and I was just, just scrolling through. And I started seeing this one guy was posting the same thing every day. And it was just one line. It just said, "Hey, Christians, we're one day closer to heaven." And then that would kind of stop me in my tracks of like, all right, I need to get up. He's right. Like, we're heading towards something eternal. This life has eternal impact. I need to get up and make something out of my life here for a little bit. So I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool if I could get a song that kind of had the same effect on people? And so I was like, that line is kind of hard to fit into a song. Hey, Christians, we're one day closer to heaven. So I was like, it needs to be shorter than that, probably. So I just toyed it around, and I probably talked to some friends and stuff about it, but I got it down to just the 2 words, "Glory Bound." And it's like, all right, that says that same thing. So then I just started thinking about, like, why is it that I'm glory bound? It's because of Christ. It's because of his sacrifice. And there's a line that, like, it's my favorite line in the song, that it talks about, like, there's a river where redemption flows, and then it says, "That rushing water healed me, I live because I drowned." Talking about, like, I'm dying to myself, and then that's the reason that we're glory bound. So yeah, so I just hope that people listen to it gets them out of bed, gets them going throughout the day. I wanted to have that same impact that one little tweet had on me every single day. So
what, are you going to create a remix with that, that original line that you saw on the...
It definitely needs to, and maybe that banjo solo that I put in, which, if you're just listening to this, that wasn't a real banjo. That was my mouth. And I know how realistic that is.
Put that on the remix.
Yeah, that'll make it. That'll make the cut.
That'll
It's buried very deep in, but there's a bald eagle screech in Glory Bound. Yeah. So, I mean, it's hidden in there, but the trained ear can hear it. And a trained birding ear would probably tell you that it's probably like a black hawk and something and not an actual bald eagle. Because I learned that bald eagles don't make much sound, but apparently hawks make that sound that is always in the caw, that thing.
Dude, man.
So the mouth banjo isn't far off, is what I'm saying.
Wow. All right. So you've got me searching now. It's like a treasure hunt.
Yeah. You gotta listen to it maybe multiple times to find it,
Oh, that's awesome. Dude, before we wrap up, how can we pray for you? You're on the journey.
We're on the journey. Man, just pray that my eyes are staying fixed.
Yeah.
I need a lot of rest. It's hard for me to kind of shut down my brain sometimes with everything that's going on. So praying for that, and just pray for my local church.
Awesome,
yeah.
man. Awesome. Thanks for your time today,
Hey,
brother.
appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Eli Gable, it's the latest Rewrite podcast here on the Light FM. Thanks for joining us.
This is Rewrite, stories of new life in Jesus. I'm Jonathan Unthank. If you'd like to join a community of listeners who enjoy hearing the life stories of Christian music artists and influencers, then join the Rewrite text group by texting the word Rewrite. That's REWRITE to 81891. But more importantly, if you'd like to dig deeper into your own relationship with Jesus, you can begin that journey today by texting his name, Jesus, to 81891. God bless you. Join me next time for another episode of Rewrite.